Alright, that'll work. So what I'll do is get this piece put in, laid out and marked. As well as the top piece. And I'll use bigger dominoes on that one. Then I'll cut a rabbet in here. I don't know how deep I'll go, but something like this. To hold that panel. This might be just a hair too long. All right, that looks good. I'm just debating whether or not to have this panel slide up in to this piece. And I think if I get a good enough fit, that's not gonna help the structure of it at all. I'll just make sure I get a nice tight fit in here. Now before I get carried away here, I want to cut a rabbet in the back. And it's going to be easier to do that while it's apart. So I'll do these two pieces, running them on the dado stack. And these will be just stop dados that I'll clean up with a chisel. Much easier to do it now though than doing it with a bit running around the outside. Alright, I made a executive decision here. I decided to take and route out the bulk of this waste. Basically this was suspended above the router table like this with the bit riding in here, or not riding but against the fence here. And this one cut let's see. This one cut nice and clean, uniform depth pretty much, because this part of the style is relatively straight. This one has got it dipped a little bit after I made this relief cut. So this got just a hair thinner on me. I knew that was going to happen, and I thought I had cut it shallow enough where this would be the same depth and this would be a bit thicker that I could remove with my router plane. And as it turned out, it is a bit thicker, but down here it's a bit thinner. So I'm going to stick with the middle measurement. I'll be removing material. I'll be removing material up here, but not down there. And I think it'll be fine. But I did get the bulk of it removed on the router table. And then you can see here what I did here with the back side. Or actually, this is the back side. So now I will glue it up, and all the cross pieces got material removed in the proper places. So I'm good to go there. All right, I got the 3 corners done. I'm just going to show you how I like to do this. So I just take the widest chisel I have and just kind of walk it over until I'm past that, or close to that line, I should say. Same thing here, just walk it in. And then you got your intersection. The next thing I like to do is just take the bulk of this out of here with a smaller chisel, about a 1/16 of an inch back. Okay, that's pretty flush, pretty close to being flush. So then I'll come in here and chop this out, splitting that difference. Then go to my line. And this side here, you can just pare it off because you're going with the longer end. And one last cut here on this side. I guess not. Okay. Now this side here, little lobe tap. Let's see how flush we are. And there you go. I'll say that's relatively square. Looks good. That looks good. Alright, I just spent the last few minutes shooting this panel, and now I want to see if it fits. And I have to find those high spots. Incidentally, I marked this X and Y, and it goes this way. When I was shooting it, I had to keep one of the square edges, and I had to flip it over. So See how it goes here. It's a nice fit. That edge is high, and that edge is high from about right here. And right there. So I'll get my router plane out, set that depth to here and run it up on both sides and see if I can't get this to sit flush all the way. Alright, I've made one pass. It started to cut about right there. So I'm going to drop it just a fraction. Take like a finishing pass, I hope. Start on the outside. Taking little bites here. It's pretty good. Come over to the other side and do the same thing. What I'm doing is holding this with my thumb and my fingers are on the bottom side, keeping pressure that way. And that's almost exactly where I had that dot. Okay. Get my X and Y back in here. Back this out. Trying to fit one more time. See if we can get flush up on the top here. Yes, sir. Nice. Alright, so that can get glued in. I don't know that there's any reason not to do that. This will sit on top this way. Just like that. Just like this one. So again, I'll use my shooting board to get this to just fit. Get the two cross pieces to just fit, and then half lap them. I can take some more off of this with the saw. No need to take all of that off with the shooting board. So I'll rough cut these to length and then come back and shoot them in place. Alright, I've got it laid out very close. It ended up being just a hair over 3 inches. So instead of screwing around with my digital caliper here, which gets me pretty darn close, or would get me exact, I just eyeballed it. And when I cut this long center divider, I'll flip it and do everything I did on this end on the opposite end, and that will center these two. These two will be self-centering just because this, center is center. So it doesn't really matter what the length of these are. It's going to go in the middle. So I'll do these half laps, and then put the frame in place and see where I have to do my mortising to let it into this frame. Here's what happens when you get a little too rough with them. She snapped on me. I'm going to attempt to save this with some super glue and see what happens. Alright, my mother once told me everything happens for a reason. And when I broke this piece last night actually, I was a bit distraught. Thought I could save it with some super glue. That didn't work because I picked it up this morning and it just kind of fell apart on me. So it got me thinking, I'll make a new one, but as I went to make the new one, I know that I need to recess it into this piece here, this thickness. I realized that this is too thick. It'll leave me just a fraction, I don't want to say a fraction, but probably a 1/16 of an inch, and I need more than that. So I've got to thin these out, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to make a little quick jig here to be able to run my hand plane, and this will be my final thickness, this 1/4 inch piece of plywood. So I've got double stick tape. I'm going to put this piece down first. Anywhere is good. Oh, and a scrap piece of plywood here. Just random. Press that down. Then these 3 pieces, this is my stop, cut about that thickness, and I'm going to stick that right here, like so, and bring in my last piece here to hold everything together, like that. So now I know when I run my hand plane and it reaches this depth, or these 2 pieces, that's what I want. So I'm going to take one pass off of this side, flip it over, and take the remaining passes off of the other. And I hope that when I do this I get a nice clean pass here. So let me get the camera on the other side so I can get, I'm right-handed, I want to be going this way. I think I've got this set for a relatively thin cut. Yeah, that looks good. Now, did I get everything? It appears as though I did. One more pass just to be sure. Alright, that's nice and clean. I like that. Now we'll rotate, and we gotta turn them. Make sure the green is running the right direction. Yeah. And now I'll just keep doing this until I get to my final thickness. Well, and get that one last pass to clean it up. There. Alright, my jig held out. Now we got to see if we got our depth of cuts correct. Yeah, that's got to go a little bit deeper on the cross pieces. These have to go just a hair deeper. I'll get that taken care of. And then this will be set to go. That worked out pretty slick. And now I can show you this. This was the original thickness. And now I'm down probably a 32nd of an inch. Do it this way. So that little bit of material is going to make a huge difference when it comes to installing it in that frame. Using the same jig, basically. I got these two pieces I left in place. I took the stop and put it over here to rest my router plane on, and then I'm just going at this from two different directions so that I don't tear out. And the other thing I did was took my chisel and scribed lines, scribed down the sidewall to make sure that I got a nice clean cut. Let's see how it fits now. Just a hair more, just a hair. See which one needs to have the hair taken off it. Looks like the main piece here. Go this way. That should do it. And it did, okay. Nice fit. Both directions.